I'm just very excited to welcome Alex Hawkinson, the founder and CEO of SmartThings, to the stage.
So again, I'm Alex Hawkinson. I'm founder and CEO of a company that's building a platform called SmartThings. I was asked to come and talk to you today about what we see as the largest opportunity emerging on the internet over the course of the next 5 or 10 years, and something that I think is going to affect all of us in this room and everywhere in the world. So a little bit of background context. I think that the web has basically emerged in 2 major epochs or phases so far over the past 15 years or so, and we're about to enter the 3rd phase, which I think is going to be as big as the first 2 in its implications. So to provide a little bit of a backdrop for that, the first major phase we think about as the knowledge graph. Each of these phases has been basically a process where we take something as a human society and we digitize something that was previously only available offline and bring it into the online world. And in the process of doing that, unlock value for people and for society that's tremendous, create whole new industries, and disrupt a lot of industries in the process as well. So at its simple level, what it means is that not just ourselves being online, but all of the everyday objects in our life are going to come online. You know, our front doors, everything in our homes, the chairs you're sitting on, your hotel room, your vehicles, and so on. Those are all going to be connected to the internet, and you're going to be at a simple level, be able to remotely monitor and do things to control them from anywhere in the world. That's going to develop very quickly into a next phase where literally the world can be controlled with software. You'll be able to install applications into your front door in the same way that you can install applications into your phone. And what are some of the sort of spooky and amazing implications of that? You know, we hear a lot of speculation, and we as an industry can sort of make it up as we go, but I'll spend a couple minutes talking about it in the talk. So why is this the time in which this is going to happen? People have talked about the Internet of Things for a number of years. Now's the moment where it's starting to surge forward for a bunch of different reasons, but there's a few that I like to focus on. One is bandwidth is now available everywhere. You can see it in your home, in your office, in the air, you know, city or country, wherever you are. And that bandwidth can be tapped into by these everyday objects. Second, you're now carrying the perfect dashboard or way to access the physical graph in your pocket everywhere with you. You can't imagine if you had to go to a computer to unlock your door, you wouldn't have done it, but you can do it via your smartphone. And third, what we call democratization of hardware. There's sort of a new hardware renaissance that's happening where the barrier to creating new custom electronics devices is going down and down and down, and you're seeing thousands and millions of new device types that are coming online, and they need something to interconnect with. We know that it's the right timing because we just closed out, as Patty mentioned, one of the most successful Kickstarter campaigns in history. So we, with SmartThings, in 30 days, we sold more than 25,000 automatically connecting devices that automatically connect to the physical graph. We had more than 750 software developers and device makers sign up and support the platform. We've had more than 2,000 applications and device submissions for new types of objects and applications that are going to connect with the physical graph. You know, be aware of this as the trend. I think it's the biggest opportunity for us as an industry over the next 5 to 10 years. If you want to see us in action, you can check us out as part of the START competition. Come see our team and get a live personal demo of the current state of the art. We've just rolled out pre-ordering and a maker and developer community at the URLs that are here, and you can of course connect with me directly, and I'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
Travis Katz from Gogobot.
Hello everyone, I'm Travis. Before I get started, we're going to show you a quick video to sort of give you a feel of what Gogobot is. So let's see if we can cue that up.
I'm Rachel. I live in Salt Lake City. I needed a vacation.
So do you know of a hip hotel for less than $400? Hotel the top looks really good. I want to stay there.
We sent one lucky Gogobot user on a trip of a lifetime. With nothing but Gogobot on her mobile phone and her laptop to guide her.
veggie burritos.
Unlike other travel sites, on Gogobot, your friends and travelers like you point out the spots they know you'll love. Where to stay, to eat, to dance, or shop. Anytime, anywhere.
It's really so good.
After a whirlwind adventure, Rachel can now share her unforgettable memories with the next Gogobot traveler.
I don't want to leave. Can I just stay here? Please?
So a little background about me. I'm a huge traveler. I've traveled to more than 55 countries, and I even met my wife on a camel safari in India. Before I started Gogobot, I was one of the early executives at MySpace, where I built and ran the international business. I launched MySpace in more than 30 different countries worldwide. And one of the things that I learned through all my travels is that while I absolutely love traveling, I found it nearly impossible to use the internet to actually plan a trip and figure out where to go and what to do. And I always ended up turning to friends to try and find, did I know anyone who'd been there? And that's really where the spark of the idea that became Gogobot came from. So what is Gogobot? In a nutshell, Gogobot is a social discovery engine for travel. The idea is quite simple. Gogobot allows you to tap into the people you know and trust most, your friends, to get great ideas for hotels, for restaurants, for things to do, and places to go in any destination, anywhere in the world. Since the site launched a little less than 2 years ago, things have been going just phenomenally well. 6 weeks after we launched, our public launch, we won a Crunchy Award, joining the ranks of Twitter, Quora, Zynga, and Pandora. At the time, Michael Arrington called us one of his favorite startups and said, if you like TripAdvisor, Gogobot will blow your mind. 6 months after that, Time magazine named Gogobot one of the 50 best sites on the internet. They said, in a web chock-a-block with travel sites, Gogobot stands out for its ambition and what it's trying to do. Gogobot makes it easy for anybody to plan, to explore destinations, to plan and book their trip, or to share their trips with the help of the people in their social graph. So let's take an example. Imagine you were going for the first time in your life to Hawaii for your anniversary, and you really wanted it to be perfect. You know, where would you go? Who would you turn to for advice? You know, would you ask this guy over here in the third row? You could. He looks friendly enough. Yeah, I was talking about you. Looks friendly enough. How about the woman who was pouring your coffee for breakfast this morning? The answer is, of course you wouldn't. Not that these aren't okay people, but you don't know them. You may have nothing in common with them. So why would you want to ask them for advice for your trip? The reality is, whenever you use a traditional review site, something like a TripAdvisor or a Yelp, that's essentially what you're doing. You are trusting your holiday to a bunch of strangers who you don't know and who may have nothing in common with you. It doesn't make any sense. If you're like most people, you actually prefer advice from people you know and trust, from your friends and family. In fact, 83% of people say they trust advice from friends and family for travel above any other source. At Gogobot, we really take that concept and we bring it to life. So let's say you're planning that trip to Hawaii. On Gogobot, as soon as you connect your Facebook account We instantly personalize every page of the site for you to show you places that we think will be relevant to you. So let's say you're trying to figure out what part of the island should you stay on. You might want to start by thinking, okay, well, where are the best beaches? If you search for beaches in Hawaii on Googlebot, we will bring up a personalized list of places. We'll sort the results based on where your friends have been and what they liked, whether they've reviewed those beaches on Googlebot or just checked in there on Facebook or Foursquare. So you don't have to go digging through, stuff from somebody who may not have similar tastes and interests. We show you the stuff that's most relevant to you. So when I go on there and look, I see that my friend Fran from London, who is, I wouldn't call her a beach bunny, but she loves beaches. She reviewed this place called Lani Kai. She gave it 5 stars and said it's one of the most picture-perfect beaches anywhere in the world. Fran's been everywhere, so if she recommends it, I'm probably going to like it. That's a good place to start. Go on, whether you're on your mobile phone or when you get back, check it out, and let us know what you think. Thank you very much.
So the final panel before lunch, to me, is something that's so often missed at conferences. You'll have people who will come up on stage who've built incredible companies, and the interviewer will go to them, my God, you guys have gone from 50 million to 100 million users. How did you do it? And everybody in the audience sits there going, Christ, I'd just like to know how they went from 0 to 100 or 1,000 euros. I don't give a flying fuck how they got to 100 million users. That's totally irrelevant to me. So our next panel is going to be moderated by Ingrid Lungden, who's written for the Financial Times and is now writing is now writing for TechCrunch. So I'd like you to put your hands together for Ingrid and our wonderful panel.
I'm Ingrid from TechCrunch, and I'm here with a great panel of people who are, I shall let them introduce themselves to you. And I would like to say that this is going to make this a little bit freeform, this panel, to try to kind of go around the subject of creating apps, creating businesses around apps, and what it is that makes them, let's say, magical, what it is that takes an app from being one of hundreds of thousands into something that people use, people need to use, people find compelling to use.
So I'm with a company called Quixie. What Quixie really does is tries to create the best discovery solution for apps. We build something called functional search, and we work with carriers, device manufacturers, browsers, and other search engines to give them that technology so that their users can actually better find specific apps. I think one of the issues regarding app discovery that's actually kind of magical is, there's going to be millions and millions of solutions out there that can affect our everyday lives, and being able to find the exact right one at the right time is going to be crucial. So something I shared backstage was, we've currently discussed the current situation where imagine you're driving in a car and imagine your phone says that you're going 15 miles per hour and then you stopped and then you called 911. So your phone should know that you were most likely in a car accident, and there are many apps out there that give you a walkthrough of what are the best step-by-step situations to do in a car accident. So, a delightful experience is one where you get the exact solution right in your hands when you need it before even knowing you needed it.
Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Greenwood. I'm the founder of Brewster, which today is being released in Europe, which we're really excited about. What Brewster is an address book that understands your relationships. As you can imagine, we bring together everyone you know, any way you know them, from your iPhone contacts to Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. We bring them all together. The magic of Brewster is that it doesn't start with the A's, right, in the traditional A to Z contact list, but we help you discover who you're looking for in any way you can imagine. One example, just to kind of kickstart it, is I'm from New York City. My mom was coming to visit me, and she wanted to go to a comedy show. I didn't know a lot about comedy clubs, so I literally typed into Brewster Comedy Club. And I got back a result of my good friend Dan, who showed up as one of the highest results. So I emailed my friend Dan. He sent me back paragraphs response of everywhere to go, what my mom would like, what my dad might like, what we should do this, and this. And I asked him, how did you know all this? And it turned out not only had he checked in on Foursquare at comedy clubs, not only had he worked at a comedy club, but he had even performed in a comedy club. And you think about the magic trick that this is. This is my good friend Dan, who lives in the same building I live in. And I've known him for years, and I didn't know this. And you think about all the things, all the relationships you have. The average person has over 1,000 people in their address book. and you're constantly saying, oh, I never knew you did this, or I never knew you were from there. And that's what we hope to discover and bring to life.
Hi everyone, my name is Matt Paul. I'm one of the co-founders of Schematic Labs. We create a mobile app called Sound Tracking. Apologies for the feedback there. Sound Tracking is available for iPhone and Android, also on the web. And the magic that we try to deliver to end users is the ability to capture the moment that you're in and share the music that you're listening to your friends on Facebook and Twitter. You can check it in on Foursquare, add this very rich geolocation information. And part of, I think what has inspired us along the way is just the way that music can move you, the way that photos can move you. You know, they're very emotional things, much like food or love. And it's this inspiration that I think a lot of the most successful app developers, you know, they are successful because they are able to tap into these things and evoke emotion amongst the users.
For yourself, I guess the question is it better to be a platform or a service? So why don't you two start, but I know that you have a very different opinion to them, so you can respond.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, actually, in answering this in the spirit Patty brought up before we came up here today, I think the kind of the most important thing when you're thinking about building a service, an app, anything like that, is have it come from a place of deep passion for you personally.
You know, whether you're a service or a platform really depends. For example, you know, Groupon originally I think was a good go-to app. But if they have their way, they'd love to be in the background. They'd love to be integrated into every one of your, you know, in your apps and your services.
You know, they talk about being the, you know, Andrew Mason's whole thing is the operating system for all local commerce. So totally platform. Yeah.
Right. So I think the reality and the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is the future that we want to create, right? And I think the future that we want to create is one that's very interactive, right? That we live our lives being able to, you know, interact with the world around us, interact with our purchasing experience, our education experience, our entertainment experience, and there's a lot of room to create those magical experiences. And some of them are one-off, some of them are continuous. You know, companies like Adipar are creating a monetary control system for the top 1% of the richest people in the world, right? And they're creating that one specific tool. There are a lot of niches that may be filled, and I think I would never want to live in a world of just the top 10s, right? Where we only have, you know, the 20 or 30 most popular apps. I want to live in a world where there are 10 million, 100 million interactive solutions all around me so I can create a unified, delightful experience.
So I'm going to welcome to the stage for all our international attendees. RTE is the public service broadcaster in Ireland. It's the kind of the BBC of Ireland, and the biggest technology blog in Ireland is Silicon Republic. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Anne Heraty and Myrna Laffin.
Morning, everybody. For those of you not hugely familiar with RTE, those of you who are perhaps not local, it's Ireland's public service broadcaster, and it's been going for 75 years. Myrna here heads up everything digital. And I suppose I wanted to start by asking you, Myrna, just a sort of a general question about the radical changes in the media landscape in recent years and how it's affected yourselves.
And good morning, everybody. There's been just such incredible change, and I think mostly in the last 5 to 7 years. You know, we were in the web game about for the last sort of 12 years, but really what we've seen now is just huge, incredible change, mostly driven by the fragmentation of platforms and devices. You know, it's not just about websites anymore. In fact, we're seeing to a degree somewhat of a slight decline, if you like, in sort of desktop and PC services. So the real challenge has been, how do you get your content onto all of these devices? How do you actually connect with your consumer? Because there's been a huge change in our audience behaviour. I mean, for example, you know, you put the same amount of content out on a player, but yet very different programs are being watched, let's say, on through a games console or on mobile versus, let's say, on an iPad. So you'll get a lot of comedy, a lot of very young programs on, being demanded or consumed on games consoles and on iPod, but yet we have very much will have a very much a news and drama audience on iPod. So that's been, you know, really challenging and you know, a major sort of I suppose, a driving force to our strategy, which is we want to get out there and make sure that we're meeting our audience needs whenever, wherever.
And what about the area of multi-screen and, you know, people not just watching TV the way they used to, etc., and, you know, maybe tweeting while they're watching the front line on RTE?
Well, I think that, you know, people kind of thought that with the advent of digital that people had gone away from family viewing and gone away from the big screen, or had gone into sort of watching TV or using devices on their own. But with multi-screen, and I mean, it's coming through more and more in kind of research from lots of different countries, that up to 80% of people are doing stuff while they're watching TV. And they're tweeting, or they're on Facebook, or they're, you know, engaging in some way. And new businesses have come out of that. Vbox is a good example, who are about to launch in Ireland. But I think what it has done is, you know, you may not be in the community of your family watching a show, but you are actually in a community, albeit connected through devices. So the whole second screen experience, I think, to a degree, is also driving activity to the big screen. It may not necessarily be broadcast television, it may be a TV that is connected through a box, a games console, a smart TV, but it is, to a degree, I think that actually, I kind of feel the big screen is where it's going to be at with regard to content consumption, albeit possibly controlled by a mobile device.
I suppose, finally, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and we would have discussed this when we've met before, the whole area of sort of open innovation. I mean, traditionally, RT would have used outside production companies, etc. I mean, to what extent, you know, when you're on such a steep learning curve with a relatively small team, is it important to be, you know, dealing with some of the innovators and developers here today, for example, the smaller companies, the people who are coming up with innovative products?
I think it's really important. That's why we're here. And, you know, I'd encourage you all to come to our stand. We have news now down here, we're interviewing, we're going to be streaming, and that is a global service. But it's really important, you know, from my perspective, that we work with this community. Great innovation, great creativity, you know, this is such an exciting event, and, you know, congratulate Paddy and the team on that, it's fabulous. At the last, I think it was actually one of the pub summits, I met with Newswhip, we brought them in, they have this widget called Spike. We have it as part of our sports site now. It's accounting for 5% of our traffic on our sports site. So, you know, we're partnering with Dairy on Semantic Web, we're working with the Digital Repository, some of the companies that are working with the National Digital Research Centre, but we really want to talk to you, and, you know, I'd ask you to go look at our website, look at our blog, and we've set up a mailbox which is digital innovation at rt.ie. We really want, you know, and this isn't about a one-time thing, we want an ongoing engagement. We're not necessarily going to be able to do business with everybody, but, you know, we are in this business for the long term, and, you know, I really ask that, you know, you come to us with ideas and let's talk.
Okay, well, that sounds like there's an open invitation there for anyone interested in media or broadcasting. Myrna Laughlin with RTE, thanks a million.
Thanks, Anne. Thank you.